Well, it's a beautiful Monday. It's a hockey Monday at City National Arena and Studio 31. This is Nighttime at Noon alongside Deryk Engelland, Brian McCormack, here with you as the Vegas Golden Knights. Well, if you're a VGK fan, and if you weren't, you wouldn't be listening to this show, I'm sure. You're probably dancing this afternoon because the Golden Knights had a phenomenal road trip, a phenomenal week, taking them through Southern Florida, Carolina, St. Louis, picking up big points, overcoming a lot of adversity to pick up those points. So we're going to break down the week that was, the week to come, talk about some of the big-time performers for the VGK, including some of the youngsters, Jiri Patera and Pavel Dorofeev. And we're going to get ready for kickoff later this month for the IFL season and Nighthawks football, as head coach Mike Davis will join us to talk about what his team has in store for their first game and beyond. Their season kicks off on March 25th. So a loaded, packed show. And Deryk, for the VGK right now, a lot of things going really, really well.
Yeah, in Florida, they had a slow start and, team battling for the playoff position, or playoff hopes, I guess. So they got off to a slow start, and it was a 2-1 loss in Florida to a team battling for it. And then they go into Tampa Bay, get 2 big points there. They had a 3-1 lead, and, it's a tough team. They get one, and then you take a penalty, and they score to tie it up with a minute to go or a little bit less than that. And, I just liked how they regrouped, go into overtime, and, that's 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. It can give you the other team a lot of jump and, deflate your team, but they stuck it together and ended up getting the 2 points, which is well-deserved.
Really strong road trip, and a road trip that still has one more leg to it, by the way. They're going to be in Philadelphia for tomorrow late afternoon for our time, before coming home to face the Calgary Flames and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Calgary, another team in the West, trying to make a push for that wild card spot. But the point is, there's still room to do some damage for the VGK in their upcoming games. But I think if I'm a New York guy, maybe we have some New York transplants in the audience right now. They might be familiar with the Mike and the Mad Dog game that they used to play on their radio show, where you just go through the football schedule and you'd say, okay, week 1, that's a win. That's a loss. That's a win. That's a win. Okay, so by December we should be, 8-4. If you were a Golden Knights fan playing that game ahead of this stretch, Florida, Tampa, Carolina, St. Louis, I think you'd be happy. St. Louis is the one game in there where you'd say, okay, we should find 2 points out of St. Louis the way their season is going. I think you'd be happy with a split.
Yeah.
And they took 6 out of 8 of that stretch. And as you mentioned, the Florida loss was a close loss, but they found ways to overcome. And I think any team right now, especially a Western Conference team that can boast multiple wins over both Tampa Bay and Carolina, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I think, I mentioned the Tampa Bay game, but being able to go into Carolina, that's a tough building to play in. They're really good at home. And to go in there and win 4-0, it's a team that, which I liked is if you play your systems very disciplined and you play good on the walls, you're going to get your opportunities and you stick with it. And because they're all-out pressure all over in the offensive zone, and winning 4-0, your wall battles, you win those, you're going to get your opportunities. So, it doesn't come right away, but for me, they stuck to their game plan and kept going, and then they get a 4-0 win in a tough building.
Now, of course, a great outing for Jonathan Quick as well, a 33-save shutout for Jonathan Quick. And, we're on milestone watch now for Jonathan Quick. That's 373 NHL wins for Jonathan Quick, if my numbers are up to date, and I believe they are. That puts him one behind John Van Beesbrook for number 2 all-time amongst U.S.-born goaltenders. I think my numbers are up to date on that, which, again, is to say that he's going to keep climbing that list. But when you look at the Golden Knights organization, and some fans have harkened back to the inaugural season where they had to get really, really deep in their goaltending depth. Well, we're about elbow deep right now.
Yeah.
If you look at the Henderson Silver Knights, who in mid-November had Laurent Brossoit, Jiri Patera, and Michael Hutchinson, none of those 3 are in Henderson right now. And you've got Jonathan Quick, who was brought at the deadline. He's won 3 since he's joined the team. Jiri Patera with a great performance yesterday to get his first NHL win. They continue to find ways no matter who's in there. That's a big credit to Sean Burke, big credit to Fred Brathwaite. I mean, the goaltending development has worked across the last several seasons, but it's evident right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. At the deadline, I'm sure they would have, if both goalies are healthy, going into the deadline, they probably maybe use that money somewhere else. But, with Logan Thompson down, Brossoit down, they have to, it's almost an insurance policy, and it's paid off big. And, not just in the game. I think in the locker room, Quick is a well-respected goaltender, been around for a long time in the league. He's respected. So what he's done in his career and stuff coming in. Almost with 2 young goalies, it's that little bit of calming factor, and he can use his experience to help those young guys when they do get back and healthy. So that's a huge addition to the team. And like you said, the pipeline has been used this year probably more than the team would like, because you don't want to see those injuries. But it just shows, like you said, what Freddie and Sean have done with the goaltending. I thought Patera played great last night in his debut, and especially after that taking that Parenko slap shot in the jaw, in the teeth.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Take that in the teeth and keep going. He made some big stops at some key times, and that's what you want as your backup. Not let alone your guys. That's there was 3 goalies in Henderson. He's up and getting his shot, and I thought he answered the bell well.
I think something else is interesting when you look at the rotating cast of characters we've seen between the pipes, is that for the Golden Knights, of course, if you have a young guy making his first NHL start, you're going to be cognizant of that. You're going to try to make sure you're not giving him multiple 3-on-1s in the first period. But at the same time, they're not playing in a shell. Yeah. Whether it's systematic or just the confidence in the organization, they're playing their same game no matter who's in there, which is to say that their game inherently does not create a lot of havoc and a lot of high danger opportunities against for whoever's between the pipes, but also that this is a VGK team right now. The Paul Cotter goal in Carolina was a great example too. They're going to be patient, they're going to wait, and when you make your mistake is when they're going to pounce. And that's where you can see a team that's playing well, like Tampa did largely, like Carolina did largely. The game just slowly gets a little further and further out of reach the deeper it goes, and it's because of the opportunism, and it's because it's a system that I think is other teams it's been frustrating for them.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good system. It definitely helps the goaltenders out. How they don't, like you said, don't give up those high danger scoring chances as frequently. They really pack into the house and take care of that area, and which is what you want for any goaltender. They're going to come up with a big save when they need it, but knowing that they're not going to have 2-3 rebounds up because the team collapses to that net and clears out rebounds well. And I think goes off to the veteran group. You got guys like Pietrangelo, Martinez, McNabb on the back end. Even you can throw Theodore in there. He's been on there. And then up front, they got a lot of veteran guys and that know how to win. And I think they're coming into their own at the right time. This last push for the playoff spots, and this is where you want to be playing your best. And I think they're finding ways to win in different. If it's a 5-3 game in St. Louis, or they came up 1 goal short in Florida, but it's a 2-1 game. They're winning all different ways.
Yeah.
So it's hats off to the systems and the guys that are doing it, and then the goaltenders coming up and doing their job too.
Brian McCormack, Deryk Engelland here with you on Nighttime at Noon. You can follow along on the Golden Knights social channels as well if you want to stare at us while we're talking to each other. Floyd will put some good graphics on the board as well. But lob your questions to us on the VGK Twitter so that production assistants Songy and Ryan can let us know what you guys are thinking. As you look at this 3-game winning streak for the Golden Knights and the solid first portion of this road trip, let's broaden the scope a little bit if you don't mind, because if you look at what the Golden Knights have done since the All-Star break, and they had tough sledding going into the All-Star break, out of the All-Star break, if my count is correct, 12-2-2 since the All-Star break, 10-2-2 since losing Logan Thompson, which could have been an excuse, or around the league, I'm sure teams looked at it like, okay, let's see how they handle this. Well, they haven't really missed a beat. All year, and really through the trade deadline especially, we talked so much about the arms race in the East, so many teams loading up, and the Western Conference a little either quieter or those depth acquisitions. And for the Golden Knights, they brought in Ivan Barbashev and Teddy Bluger. Those have looked like good additions so far, and of course Jonathan Quick is paying off. But it's been hard to find in the West a team that you said, okay, that's the one running away. There's the Bruins in the East, and a couple of teams very much trying to maybe not catch Boston, but be ready for them in May.
Yeah.
In the West, who's going to seize that? I wonder if we're kind of seeing the Golden Knights seize it right now, because, again, they've been as good as anybody since the All-Star break, and even with the challenges thrown their way, it hasn't caused them to miss a beat.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're getting to their fine-tuning everything and hitting that stride at the right time. You want to be playing your best hockey, and you mentioned the next 3 games at home after Philly, but after that, it's all playoff teams in the West, other than
San Jose at the end.
Yeah, Columbus. They're out of it. So it's all teams that are battling for it. I think they have Calgary potentially 3 times, so they can really, you win those 3 games, you knock them out of the race, and basically solidify your spot. And you got Edmonton, Minnesota a couple times, Seattle a couple times, LA. So it's all teams you're battling with, mostly in the West, but a couple in the Central too. So it's gonna make for some interesting hockey, some fun hockey to watch. And those are the teams you don't want to be playing, the teams that are out of playoffs. Yes, they're going to try to play the upset, but the games aren't as emotional and stuff. But when you're playing all the teams that you're going to meet in the playoffs, you're upping that level and getting ready for the playoffs.
And you look at the rest of their schedule in March, just to follow up on that road game in Philly tomorrow night. Then there's the rest of the way. There's going to be 2 against Calgary, 1 home, 1 away, 2 against Edmonton, 1 home, 1 away. Columbus, Vancouver, and San Jose also in the mix. And then when you turn to April to wrap things up, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left in the regular season schedule in the month of April, which, especially when we're talking about standings math, 7 games is not a lot. There's still probably going to be some work to do, some closing out to do. But once you get to April 1st, you blink, you file your taxes, and you sit down for playoff hockey. So we're getting towards the finish line where you want to be playing your best hockey. And I think the strength of the VGK is they are playing great, and they're presumably going to get stronger as they get a few pieces back. But as you mentioned, in the beginning of it, it seemed like they were doing with defense and goaltending. Lately, the offense is picking it up again. Jack Eichel, a resurgence over the last month. And I think with that, there's been a little bit more space created that we're starting to see the likes of your Jonathan Marchessaults, your Riley Smiths, and your William Karlssons find the touch again as well.
Yeah, you want all, they went through that streak where all the top guys weren't scoring. I forget all the streaks, Riley Smith, Stevenson hadn't scored in, it was like that 10 games. But, with the skill level they had, they were going to bounce back. They're going to find it, and every team that you're playing against, they're matching up against those guys, putting their best players out against them to shut them down. And, it was only a matter of time till they got going again. And you hopefully that streak, it doesn't happen again this year for those guys, or, maybe not all at the same time. But everyone's starting to, find that touch again. They're getting their opportunities, and the lines that they got going right now, it's tough to match just one line. Now you throw out, if they're matching hard against Eichel's line, then Smith and them come out, and that's another top line that you have to match up against. So they're maybe getting some better matchups, but you want them all clicking, and they are. And then you go further down, and third and fourth lines are contributing as well.
Deryk, when the top guys weren't going, a lot of them simultaneously, the depth guys were. Paul Cotter has 12 goals. No one had that written down at the start of the year, but Cotters and Waz and Amadios were getting it done offensively. And just to demonstrate the depth, yesterday Pavel Dorofeev got his first NHL point in the first period. He followed up with his first NHL goal later on, creative as it was. And Bruce Cassidy, after the game, spoke about the contributions of young Pavel Dorofeev.
Well, he was on the puck a lot. The first goal, he created turnover with foot speed. I thought on his off wing he was able to get inside a lot, to be dangerous there. Went into traffic. It's kind of slippery around the net, right? He's there, but he's not this huge guy, but he finds a way to find pucks. I thought he complimented those guys well, because he's also willing to shoot. Sometimes, when Marshy was on that line with Carly and Smith, I think that was a good element for that line. Sometimes those guys are looking to make the extra pass. You eventually need someone to shoot, and I think Pav is willing to do that, and he did it tonight. And oftentimes when a guy plays his first game, you're going to defer a lot. Like that 2-on-1, I thought it was the right decision to shoot. So I was happy for him to. And he complimented those guys. The whole line was good. I mean, Carly was excellent. Smitty was on pucks. It was a real good line, our best line.
And that was Bruce Cassidy yesterday talking about Pavel Dorofeev, his first NHL goal, just one of several young players highlighting yesterday's win in St. Louis. We're going to talk about that and more later on in the show. But right now we're going to step aside because when we come back, Mike Davis, head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks Indoor Football League team, ready to get us up to speed on what his plans are for this season and how his team is looking as they get ready for kickoff against the Iowa Barnstormers on March 25th. That's on the other side of the break. But first, attention Golden Knights fans, we need your help in welcoming AFC Bournemouth to the Foley Entertainment Group. Also known as the Cherries, AFC Bournemouth plays in the prestigious English Premier League, where they consistently take on some of the best football teams in the world. Show your support for the Cherries by catching their matches via stream on Peacock TV. To learn more and be a part of the club's exciting new era, Make sure to visit afcb.co.uk. That's afcb.co.uk. And up the cherries. We'll step out. When we come back, Mike Davis joins us. Brian McCormack, Deryk Engelland here with you on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
To the ground, I give a what they hate to do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let make you wrong? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I would not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no helping hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now thinking I hope you did. When you won't win, then you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you won't win, then you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is mine, so what did I choose? Look, I grind every day, I got something to prove.
The Vegas Nighthawks return for their second season of action later this month. Become a part of the Nighthawks family and don't miss out on the action. Go to nighthawksfootball.com, nighthawksfootball.com, and secure your seats for this upcoming season. Full season membership starts just $15 per ticket per game at the Dollar Loan Center located in Henderson. Visit nighthawksfootball.com for more information today. Back on Nighttime at Noon, Studio 31 at City National Arena in Summerlin. Brian McCormack and Deryk Engelland here with you. Golden Knights are rolling, but, in Henderson at the Dollar Loan Center, we're looking forward to another team getting off to a great start, and that is the Vegas Nighthawks in their second season in the IFL. And they will kick off on March 25th against the Iowa Barnstormers. To help us get ready for IFL season, we're joined by the head coach and general manager of the Nighthawks, Mr. Mike Davis. Mike, thanks for taking the time today. We appreciate it.
Brian, thanks for having me.
Easy question for you right off the start, Mike. The team is workouts are underway. Opening day is just a couple of weeks away. How are you feeling about your group?
So far, so good. You always get anxious that time of year when the guys are coming in and, on paper you like what you have, but you never know who shows up and has really been working. But so far, so good, and it's been a pleasant surprise. 3 practices in.
Hey, Mike, Deryk Engelland here. How's it going?
Good, Deryk. How are you?
Good. I know you're just starting up here, but who can the fans look forward to seeing in your eyes, come the game on the 25th that's new to the team?
Well, we actually just signed the league MVP from 2 years ago, Daquan Neal. So to play quarterback for us, we lost Cam Dukes and got him promoted to the CFL with the Toronto Argonauts. So we had a previous relationship with Daquan and kind of reached out to him. He wanted to come here, and so that's a huge piece for us because you cannot win any games without a dominant quarterback.
Mike, looking back to last season, you guys had a great push for the playoffs at the end of last season that came just a little bit short, but it took until maybe two-thirds of the way through the year until you had Cam Dukes that was solid for you through the end of the season. Now you've locked down a key QB piece prior to this season, but you are going to have some returning pieces for this season. I imagine that was one of the challenges of being a team in its inaugural year last season, was that everyone came in, but you're pretty much starting from scratch. I would think this year with a few pieces coming back that you can depend on, that maybe gives you a little bit of a head start that you didn't have the benefit of last year.
Yeah, it is, Brian. Last year we decided to build the foundation and go with mostly 95% rookies who had never played the game. So the learning curve was a little bit longer than what we had liked, but we started to hit our stride late. And then, to have 6 or 7 guys returning this year, it's an exciting time for us, and we're excited to see how it all plays out.
Mike, you mentioned Cam Dukes going to the CFL. Maybe that's something that fans aren't totally aware of or familiar with, how the IFL functions. That, of course, it's about winning in Vegas. It's about winning in the IFL, but it does provide opportunities for players to move on to CFL, NFL practice squads, and beyond. Is that a good recruiting tool for you to have a track record that, hey, players who have come to Vegas have gotten that opportunity to make a jump? Does that help lure talent?
Absolutely. Obviously we're here to win games for the Nighthawks in the city of Vegas, but it is also a platform for these kids. So there's some guys that come in and they use the platform the right way, and they put up great film and are great teammates, and they get blessed with the opportunity to move on. So, I think we sent 13 guys up to the CFL and then 9 to the XFL last year. So for us, it's just it makes it recruiting a little bit easier. Unlike the Silver Knights, where they have the farm team for the Golden Knights, we don't have a per se farm team. We're open to all other pro teams that we can help you guys advance to.
We're talking to Mike Davis, head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks, who will kick off their season March 25th at the Dollar Loan Center against the Iowa Barnstormers. Looking at the schedule, Mike, it's 4 of the first 5, and if I'm not mistaken, I think 6 of the first 8 games of the season are going to be at home. Of course, we all saw what the atmosphere is like at the Dollar Loan Center for Nighthawks football last year. Having a front-loaded home schedule like that, I imagine, gives you guys a real opportunity to get out of the gates hot.
It is. That's actually one of the things that myself and the coaching staff and we've talked to the players about is, you have to win all your home games. And for us, if we can do that, it's going to put us with a huge step in the right direction in securing a playoff game and potentially a home field playoff game. So we got to win. You got to win your home games to start off with.
Mike, looking at just the way that the pace of play in the IFL, we see high-scoring football. That is by design. A lockdown defensive IFL team is not going to necessarily look to hold a team under 10 points every week. But I do wonder, as you're building a team, as you're choosing who you bring back from last season, who you're looking to add, I'm sure it's a two-sided coin, but is it more focused on trying to find the right defensive pieces, or are you trying to build up to be able to win those gunslinging shootouts?
I think you have to build it both ways. You're looking for guys who can help you put up points, but then you're looking for guys who are hard-nosed and can gel together and are great communicators to slow other offenses down. So if you can find those pieces and get them to gel together, you turn out to have something special in your hands.
Mike, you said that you do have a few returning pieces. Not to put you on the spot, I know we're before the season, maybe some decisions still being made. Are there any returning players from last year that fans enjoyed that maybe they can look forward to again?
Yeah, we're still in the midst of camp, but guys who are returning, you have Jordan McCray, who's a receiver who played. Casey Allison's a local native here from Las Vegas. And then, Gabe McCoy is a UNLV product. Javon Ferguson plays linebacker for us. And then Kalen Hicks is a Bishop Gorman grad and played at the University of Hawaii. So those are some of the guys that are returning for us that we're excited about. They have to put themselves in the right position to make the team when the final cuts come out, but so far they're doing that.
Talking to Mike Davis of the Vegas Nighthawks, and you mentioned still training camp, still guys getting into game shape, and you start off by saying, okay, we've got talent, we've got guys coming in, now let's see them play. What are the rigors of training camp like for an IFL team? You worked out this morning, I'm sure. What's kind of the run of show for these players as they get ready for opening day?
Well, we kind of keep them. Training camp for us is, you get 9 days to bring in 40 guys and cut to 25. So we keep them busy most of the day. This morning we're in the building at 7. We practice at 9. We were on the field at 8:30. Practice at 9. We're off. We're actually watching film now as we speak, and we'll keep them till about 2 o'clock. Then we'll give them a break, and they'll go have lunch and dinner. And then we'll come back and have meetings in the afternoon.
Looking ahead to this season, what do you anticipate from the conference that you guys play in? Of course, the Northern Arizona Wranglers in that conference. The Arizona Rattlers are always strong there in that conference. So certainly the schedule that you have, you expect to be among the best in that group. But of course, it's going to be challenging competition week in, week out.
Yeah, I mean, the West, our division is brutal. Obviously the Arizona Rattlers are the cream of the crop normally. They've been around this is their 30th year. So, Northern Arizona Wranglers last year kind of caught lightning in a bottle, and they had their guys playing together at the right time, and that was getting into the playoffs. I mean, I think they won, don't quote me, I believe they won 12 of their last 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, they got hot at the right time. Obviously Bay Area is going to be way better than they were last year, so is San Diego. And then Tucson, like Coach Chen took over in Tucson, and they signed the Offensive Rookie of the Year and Ramon Atkins at quarterback. So, like I said, there's a ton of talent. There's a ton of parity. We try not to worry about other teams too much, just worry about what we can handle and take care of our business. But, there's a lot of guys that we've kind of looked around and see how we match up and how we stack up against them.
Well, it's going to be a great season, Mike, that we're really excited for. Before we let you go, just curious, again, someone who's been in the IFL and been in football for a long time, you've seen a lot of different settings. What was the atmosphere at the Dollar Loan Center like, and kind of energy does that provide for your group?
It's electric. That's one of the first things that I heard after games from visiting players or coaches, and that how enjoyable it was to play in an arena with that type of atmosphere and setting. I mean, our game day people do a phenomenal job. Our ticketing people do a great job filling the place, and it just gives you that energy that you can't make up anywhere else.
Well, and of course, I've never seen a touchdown prop box before last season, but the fans got a kick out of that. Do you have any input on what goes in the prop box, Mike? Any incentivization there?
I do not. I tell Chandler and the game day ops guys, hey, you have free reign to do whatever, but if you're going to put something in there, make it enjoyable.
There you go. Well, just a little extra surprise for all of us when we're enjoying Nighthawks football, and we certainly will starting on March 25th. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and good luck this season. We're excited to watch.
Ryan, Darren, I appreciate you having me.
That is Mike Davis. He is the head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks, who kick off March 25th against the Iowa Barnstormers. Post-game cacautographs after every game with the full team as well, so bring the family down. Tons of fun, and as we mentioned, season tickets starting at just $15 per ticket per game at the DLC. Great deal, great fun, and great action. Did you get to go to any of those games last year, Deryk?
Yeah, I did. I took my boys down there, sit right behind the bench, so you could hear the bantering between the benches and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of things going on. It's kind of like NFL, CFL in a small, little, tiny field. So it was a lot of fun, and my boys enjoyed it.
That's good. When Deryk Engelland is close to the action, like, wow, these guys are coming fast. If he's saying it, it's got to be true. But we're going to hop out when we come back. We'll get back to the VGK side of things, talk more about Pavel Dorofeyev and Yuri Patera's performance yesterday, William Karlsson hitting a milestone, and the Golden Knights continuing to roll. It's all straight ahead on Nighttime at Noon. Brian McCormack and Deryk Engelland here with you on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
5 feet to the ground. I give a what the hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let the maker you want? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I would not ever let go. Use the negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no helping hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now thinking I hope you did. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is mine, so what did I choose? Look, I grind every day, I got something to prove. Move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move.
Brian McCormack, Deryk Engelland, back with you on Nighttime at Noon. Do you want to catch the next Golden Knights game and grab a bite? You should do it tomorrow late afternoon when the Golden Knights are in Philadelphia. Well, you can come and stop by Mackenzie River Pizza, Grill, and Pub and eat like a Golden Knight. Open every day from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fans can dine in and catch their favorite games right by the rink. Call 702-916-2999. That's 702-916-2999, or visit MackenzieRiverPizza.com and learn more today. Again, he's Deryk Engelland. I'm Brian McCormack. The Golden Knights are doing lots of awesome things, and we're going to talk about it right here, right now, after the Golden Knights picked up another victory 5-3 last night against the St. Louis Blues. We'll delve into that a little bit more deeply and start with the conversation of the kids first. Pavel Dorofeev, who scored a goal off his visor, his first in the National Hockey League. Your first NHL goal, I imagine, was not like that.
No, it was a one-timer from the point that
Glamour.
Screen in front, yeah. Just put it at net. But I wouldn't have mind one off the visor. I'd take it anytime. I didn't score a lot of goals, so anything worked for me.
I think the best thing is that when it goes in off of his visor, you see players with their first NHL goal. They might be doing the junior celebration, jumping up on the glass in the corner. They're losing their minds. For Pavel Dorofeev, it was literally just a shucks. Like, literally, he mimed it. That went off his visor. He found it funny instantly, but like you said, it gets you on the board. But when you listen to what Bruce Cassidy, his comments that we played during the first segment, it was indicative of the fact that Pavel Dorofeev wasn't just in the right place in the right time and facing forward. It was literally a game in which Dorofeev did such a good job funneling to the middle, using his feet. He created the turnover that led to William Karlsson's goal to open the game. But he had great looks from between the circles, and that's what they've been preaching. They want to see more of from Pavel Dorofeev developmentally. Playing on the inside, he really did that yesterday.
Yeah, he was getting to the inside, and not that Carly and Smitty don't do that, but they'll make the plays. You got to be in the right spot, and if you can get to the inside, it complements those two a great deal. And he's got a great shot, Dorofeev does, and those guys are going to put it on his tape, from different spots. So if he can get to the inside, he's going to get lots of opportunities to shoot the puck. And, I think it's a big thing on that line. Those guys have good shots, but they're definitely looking to set other guys up. So if you're just find that soft area and get your shot off, they're going to put it on the tape and in your wheelhouse.
And one of the things I think I've noticed over the last handful of games for the Golden Knights is that one of the reasons the offense is there is because they're getting to the middle, which doesn't always require the muscle to get to the middle. Ultimately, it will always require you to have the willingness to stand there and take some punishment and win some physical battles. But it's also the speed to get there first and to get to loose pucks. And I think it was the Jonathan Marchessault goal is where it really stood out to me, where when we talk about speed in the game, it's not always 200-foot races.
No.
Sometimes it's a matter of winning a 7-foot race, 3 hard strides and get there first. And Jonathan Marchessault's goal at the start of the second period, he's tied up on the half wall with Jacob Vrana. He's covered.
Yeah.
And Vrana falls asleep for just a second. Marchessault gets off the wall, wins a foot race to give himself 3 feet of space. Pietrangelo hits him, Marchessault finishes. And that's why I think the Golden Knights have done such a good job of it. It's recognizing empty space in the offensive zone and winning the races to it.
Yeah, it's it's not like hockey 10 years ago when, if a forward beat you to the front of the net, D-man could just, cross-check him out of there and you didn't get there. You get there first, and that's your spot now. It's tough for a D-man to come out and clear you out. That's why, in practice, teams are, instead of doing it at the front of the net, they're boxing out in the corners. That person passes the puck, say, out to the point. You're boxing them out right there and then, so it takes you some time to get to the front net. And if you can spin off those checks and get to the net before the D-man, it's tough for that D-man to move you. So I thought, like you said, the Knights have been doing a good job getting to the front of the net. And at this time of year especially, it's harder to score goals. You're going to see a lot more goals from that 15 feet around the net, and they're doing a good job getting there and getting rewarded for it.
And this is another year like we've seen last year. Scoring is very, very much up, but we've reached that part of the schedule now that everyone's going to start playing playoff hockey pretty much this week and beyond, so things are going to get a little bit tighter, a little bit faster. On the defensive side, or I should say on the puck-stopping side, we've talked about how great Jonathan Quick has been since he's come over, and for the entirety of the team, finding ways to win against top competition in the East. But yesterday, Jiri Patera called upon. He knew he was going to start from the day before, so I'm sure he had 24 hours to gear himself up for NHL start number 1, and he got NHL win number 1. And after the game, Jiri Patera spoke about his experience getting his first NHL win in St. Louis.
Kind of talk. I'm glad we got the win, and towards the end, it was a little bit scary, but we got the job done, and I'm pretty sure we're all happy.
You said it was scary at the end. How would you describe that third period?
Yeah, when they scored, they had a little bit of a push, but then our D zone was a lot better after.
10.
Took the sticks and just did a really good job in the D zone and played in the O zone most of the time, so it was fun.
And that was Jiri Patera getting NHL win number 1. And I'll tell you what, Deryk, one thing that I think has really benefited the goaltending system for the Golden Knights, and again, we've talked about the work of Burke and Brathwaite and Rosati, but if you look at the competitive nature, Jiri Patera, who's had a phenomenal season, and the Silver Knights have not had a lot of wins and a lot of run support for him, but his individual numbers, his individual work has been spectacular. He was still splitting time with Laurent Brossoit. He was, before that, last year splitting time with Logan Thompson. It's always been a 50-50 split that he's had to fight for the net, fight for the crease. So I think when you hear so many of the goaltenders that make it up to the VGK, and the word you always hear is compete level. Well, that's kind of bred into them in the system, and we saw a compete level from Jiri Patera yesterday.
Yeah, it's, you want that all over the ice, and, it's no different for the goaltending. You want that competitive edge inside your own team, if they would have came into camp this year and said LT's a starter, Hill's going to be the backup.
Yeah.
Would have they done as good as they have so far? They see they didn't say anything. Obviously LT started a few more games up until he got hurt and stuff, but they left it open to them, and that inside competition, it makes everyone better around you. In practice, you want to be better. You're stopping the guys, which makes the shooters better, and vice versa. So that internal competition is always a good thing, and like you said with Patera, he's LT down there, he's battling for that, so it's made him better, and he's come up and he's paid his dues. He finally got his first game, and he got a win. He played phenomenal. Like I said, after that shot in the teeth, I didn't know how he was going to feel after that, but he's got a big shot, that Parenko, but he answered the bell, made some big stops. The one that comes to mind, the one he's laying down with his glove hand.
Yep.
That's a for sure goal. If he's not battling and that compete level's there, he could have taken a second off and it's a goal. So that compete level definitely helped him out there, and it's just great to see him get his first win in his first game.
You mentioned a Parayko shot to the mask. He's been well prepared for that too. Most games after morning skate, hey Jiri, how'd it go this morning? He's like, well, I got hit in the mask with 3 shots, so they break him in every which way. But the young guys got the job done on their end, and the veteran guys did as well. That included William Karlsson in his 600th NHL game. gets a goal, and for the VGK, so important when we mentioned earlier, but they're turning more and more into a 4-line team now that everyone seems to have their wheels moving in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure, and they got guys out right now too.
Yeah.
So you get some guys back. That's going to even make the team even deeper. Will Carrier, 16 or something like that, 16 goals this year. No one had that on their calendar either, like that he was going to have the year he's having. But you get those guys back in, and it's just going to make the team deeper. And going up against some of the big houses out east, the Boss, they roll 4 lines every night. So you need that. You don't want to go in banking on your top guys to play 20 plus minutes a night up front, and high 20s for your top D men. So it's nice to be able to spread it out evenly, and obviously if you're down a game, you stack up, you play those guys a little bit more, and they're fresh, and they're able to do that and still get that elite level of competition out there.
Especially looking at the rest of the month of March. Again, the team will be in action tomorrow night against Philadelphia. Between tomorrow's game, I can even count today for the sake of this argument, but between the game against Philadelphia and San Jose on the 30th, they have back-to-back off days twice. So it's going to be a lot of hockey in a condensed period of time. It's important to be able to rely on everybody. And mentioned guys coming back. That might mean we don't have a timeline yet, but of course people are going to be looking forward to the availability of Logan Thompson again. And Bruce Cassidy said yesterday that he is skating. So again, no timeline yet, but at least that's a big step in the right direction that they're on the ice again.
Yeah, it's great. I seen that during the game. They had everyone who's skating and not. Yeah. So it's
Thompson
great to
and
see them.
Brossoit, both.
Yeah, so it's good to see them out there back at it, and looking forward to seeing this team when everyone does get healthy and going. They've had contributions from guys coming up and new guys coming into the lineup from the trades and all that, and just to get that full team going before the playoffs will be huge.
Well, let's get sentimental because that's fun on a Monday afternoon. Let's work up our emotions. It was fun to see, and well received was Ivan Barbashev yesterday in his return to St. Louis, place where he won a Stanley Cup. Alex Pietrangelo, of course, can relate to that experience of not just going back to your former team's, your former home, but going back to St. Louis specifically. And after the game, Ivan Barbashev spoke a little bit about the reception he got.
I did it then, and it stopped at the perfect timing. So, didn't drop anything. But it was nice. It was a really good tribute video.
A lot of times the fans clap, but not often do they stand. They stood this time, kind of a standing ovation for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here.
10.
I really tried to play my best over here. Sometimes it wasn't really good, but at the end, it was really exciting to see.
And that was Ivan Barbashev, who did have 60 points with the Blues last year, but throughout his tenure there was a bottom six, heart and soul, grinding type, and guys like him that were the mortar of a Stanley Cup championship team in St. Louis. So nice to see him well received, and I think Alex Pietrangelo said afterwards, he's like, hey, I got the same kind of reception when I came back. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see the. You don't want to cheer for the other team, but you got to pay your respect for a guy that has played his whole career there, gets traded at the deadline away, and it's good to see the fans appreciate him when they come back. And it's not like any bad blood is why he left or anything like that. So it's great to see from the fans and the respect that they give the players when they do go back.
And Ivan Barbashev, a significant addition for the VGK this spring. We're going to hop out. When we come back, we'll take a look around the rest of the National Hockey League, the news and notes, maybe try to get to a question or two as well. Brian McCormack, Deryk Engelland here with you on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
ground. I give a what a hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let make you go? Everything that I've been working for.
All right, Golden Knights fans, now's your chance right now. So listen up. To join the battle at the Fortress next season, the Golden Knights will host a seat selection event for prospective full-season ticket holders tomorrow afternoon and evening while the VGK play at Philadelphia. RSVP at VegasGoldenKnights.com, VegasGoldenKnights.com, or scan the QR code on your screen if you're watching the stream, and come find your seats at T-Mobile Arena to cheer on the Knights. So QR code will appear on the screen at some point if you're following along. If you are driving in your car, do not scan your radio. It will not do a thing. But we hope you'll come on to VegasGoldenKnights.com and RSVP to join us at the Select a Seat event. So we've already given you multiple options of how to watch the Golden Knights and the Flyers tomorrow. You can either do it at T-Mobile Arena for the selection event, or you can come down to CNA and visit our friends at Mackenzie River. So no excuses, no reason to be home on a Tuesday night. Have fun with us and cheer on the VGK. Brian McCormack, Deryk Engelland here with you. Nighttime at noon. Golden Knights, a 3-game winning streak, a successful road trip that will wrap up tomorrow in Philadelphia. As we mentioned, 12-2-2 since the All-Star break, as they look to grab the reins in the Western Conference and in the Pacific Division, which is, of course, no easy task because while the Golden Knights keep winning, other teams are doing similarly. The LA Kings are keeping pace. The Seattle Kraken stubbed their toe a little bit over the last month, but they're still in the neighborhood. And then you look at a pretty fun wild card race shaping up that has Edmonton, Colorado, Nashville, and Calgary all in the chase. So lots of excitement in the closing weeks of the regular season. We wouldn't have it any other way. Looking around the rest of the NHL, we do have a team that has clinched a playoff spot midway through March, and it is the Boston Bruins, who have gone at a historic pace, now 50, 10, and 5 through 65 games. And it's a performance like we've not seen in decades, and a team that, if you look up to down, it's really hard to find a discernible flaw with the way the Boston Bruins are built right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think they've set a record in the NHL fastest team to 50
believe that's
wins,
right, yes.
Which is crazy if you go back to even further back in, Montreal, those great teams and stuff. It's crazy to see that they're doing it in the modern era now. And like you said, there's not many holes on that team. It's a deep team. They roll 4 lines. They're top guys. Keep doing it year after year after year. So,
and the Orlov and Hathaway ads at the deadline were very good ads for a team in that position. Put them in a good spot.
For sure. I think Orlov's, I watched 2 games and he had 6 points in 2 games. So going from Washington there, not a bad transition for him. And then Hathaway, I played with him in Calgary. He's just pure sandpaper, plays a hard game, and can create some space out there for his line mates.
I think if we were going to pick a surprise, let's force ourselves to call something with the Bruins a surprise. Linus Ullmark is having a phenomenal season, and shame on me for not having the exact stat line in front of me, but he's in a position to be first time, long time for someone who could win your goaltending triple crown of leading the league in wins, goals against, and save percentage. This has been a phenomenal year for him. They already knew they were solid, but at the start of the year we were talking about Ullmark, Swayman. It's Ullmark.
Yeah, well, last year Swayman was kind of in the same boat. He came out and he was a young guy and played really well for him, and now this year it's been Ullmark. And if they have to go back to Swayman, I don't think that's a bad thing or anything, but he's having a tremendous year. That whole team is, and they're going to be tough to beat out there.
Tony DeAngelo suspended for 2 games for a spearing incident. I think Corey Perry was on the business end of that.
Yeah.
2 games for a volatile player in Tony DeAngelo, but was that about the punishment fitting the crime, do you think?
Yeah, I probably can't say on air what I think about the spear. I think it's kind of gutless. There's a whistle. If you want to do something about it, go. Maybe give him a punch in the face. I'd rather see that than just go around someone and spear him where you probably shouldn't. I just think it's a little cowardless. And 2 games. I'm sure he's going to be missed out there, but. It is what it is.
It's interesting when that happens and you see the teammates of the player holding the weapon. rather than sometimes players will do things like that's borderline, but everyone will kind of come together into that scrum. You kind of just saw a lot of players around Tony DeAngelo in Flyers sweaters going, they knew.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things you don't want to see in hockey. If you're gonna do something, go. They're still fighting, so go do something like that.
Square up.
Square up and do it the right way.
Looking at the Minnesota Wild, they are at 84 points, one back of the Dallas Stars. In the Central, the Stars have a game in hand, but the Wild are going to be without Kirill Kaprizov for possibly the next month due to injury. That's a big loss and a tough time of year to get it.
Yeah, it is. He's another 40-goal season again. So to lose him, definitely going to need some pieces to fill in that void. It's it's like VGK when Eichel was out for what maybe not going to fill with one person. You got to fill it as a team, and that's what they're going to be looking to do to stay in that race.
Looking at the Eastern Conference wildcard race right now, Pittsburgh and the Islanders hold the hold the 2 wildcard spots. Teams with games in hands on the Islanders, but Panthers are there, Washington's there, Buffalo and Detroit have both kind of fell back a little bit. But if you had to put your smart money on a team right now, who do you think has a chance to pick up those final 2 spots? Do you think the Islanders and the Penguins is where it ends up?
I think right now it was for a little, I don't know, maybe last week I thought Ottawa, they were on a tear coming back.
2 weeks ago I thought Buffalo would do it.
Yeah,
frankly.
Exactly. But with the experience and the team, the personnel that the Penguins and Islanders both have, maybe Florida creeps in there, but I like how the Islanders and the Pittsburgh are made up. They've been there, they've done it. So I would say Florida has the best chance of maybe catching one of those teams, but I'm going to say it's probably going to stay that way.
And the Sabres,
my opinion.
Sabres and Red Wings have fallen 7 points back of the Islanders with games in hand, but again, it's been a little bit of a step backwards for them. For the Sabres, certainly the loss of Alex Tuch, significant, and it's certainly shown. While we have a second, especially for those of you on our stream, we promised you a QR code for the Select a Seat event. We weren't lying to you. It's right there in front of your face. Again, if you're driving, don't look down. But scan that QR code and you'll be able to RSVP to the seat selection event that will be held tomorrow at T-Mobile Arena while the Golden Knights battle the Philadelphia Flyers. That event, the information will be in the RSVP. So scan the code and get set to go to T-Mobile. Look at the questions, if there are any that I actually have any insight into, or Deryk yourself. Of the questions I see, I think the only ones we really have any insight for is the injury situation, which again, Bruce Cassidy said Logan Thompson and Laurent Brossoit have resumed skating, step in the right direction, and Keegan Kolazar remains day-to-day. So lots covered, and the VGK back in action tomorrow against the Philadelphia Flyers, 4 o'clock puck drop, so make sure you're tuned in for that. And to get more information to gear yourself for the week ahead, tune into the VGK Insider Show with Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace on this station tonight at 4. Deryk, great time. Appreciate hanging out with you.
Always great. Always great to be here with you.
And we look forward to seeing you again. And this is Nighttime at Noon. Every Monday, tune in during lunch and learn everything there is to know about all things VGK, sometimes from greater experts than I. He's Deryk Engelland. I'm Brian McCormack. Thanks for spending your Monday afternoon with us on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.